Festive fear. When Christmas turns chilling, the fire crackles, shadows dance, the warmth of the fire seems to promise comfort, but there's an underlying tension in the air. The flickering flames cast eerie shadows that seem to move with a life of their own, hinting at something more sinister, lurking just out of sight. Christmas carols play softly, masking the unsettling silence of the house. The melodies, usually so comforting, now feel like a thin veneer over a deeper, more disturbing quiet. It's as if the house itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to break the uneasy peace. It's supposed to be a time for joy, for family, for warmth. Families gather around the Christmas tree, exchanging gifts and sharing laughter. The air is filled with the scent of pine and the sound of joyous chatter. Yet there's an inexplicable feeling that something is amiss, a sense that the joy is fragile and could shatter at any moment. But beneath the twinkling lights and cheerful decorations, a chill lingers. The decorations, while beautiful, seem to cast long, ominous shadows. The lights twinkle, but their glow feels cold, almost as if they are trying to ward off the encroaching darkness. It's a stark reminder that even in the midst of celebration, something unsettling can be present. A primal fear, awakened in the darkest hours of the year. The long winter nights bring with them an ancient dread, a fear that has been passed down through generations. It's a fear of the unknown, of what might be lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce. This fear is as old as time itself, and it resurfaces every year as the days grow shorter and the nights grow longer. It whispers of unseen presences and ancient evils, reminding us that even in the heart of celebration, darkness can lurk. The shadows seem to whisper secrets, tales of ancient evils that have been forgotten by most but remembered by some. These whispers are a chilling reminder that the festive season is not just a time of joy, but also a time when the boundaries between the known and the unknown blur. This is the season of giving, but it is also the season when the veil between our world and the next grows thin. The festive atmosphere, with its lights and decorations, seems to draw the supernatural closer. It's as if the very act of celebrating invites the otherworldly to join in. The veil between our world and the next is at its thinnest, allowing glimpses of what lies beyond. These are not just stories, they are echoes of real events, of moments when the supernatural has made its presence known. These tales have been passed down through generations, each retelling adding a layer of authenticity and fear. They serve as a reminder that the festive season is not just about joy and celebration, but also about acknowledging the darker aspects of our world. These are real-life Christmas hauntings, etched in history and whispered in hushed tones. From ghostly apparitions to unexplained phenomena, these hauntings have left their mark on history. They are a testament to the fact that the supernatural is never far away, even during the most joyous of times. These stories, whispered in hushed tones, remind us that the festive season is a time of both light and shadow, of joy and fear. The Ghostly Organist of St. Nicholas Church, England, 1899. On a cold and stormy night, the small village of St. Nicholas was blanketed in a thick layer of snow. The church, a beacon of hope and warmth, stood resilient against the harsh elements, its Gothic architecture casting eerie shadows on the snow-covered ground. A blizzard rages outside St. Nicholas Church, the wind howling like a banshee. The snowstorm is relentless, with high winds whipping through the village, creating an almost otherworldly atmosphere. The church's stained glass windows rattle as the wind howls, adding to the sense of unease that permeates the air. Inside, the small congregation huddles together, seeking solace from the storm. The flickering candlelight casts long shadows on the stone walls, and the air is filled with the murmurs of prayer and the rustling of heavy winter coats. The villagers, their faces etched with worry, cling to each other for warmth and comfort. The air is thick with anticipation, the scent of incense and fear. The congregation knows the legend of the ghostly organist, and as the clock ticks closer to midnight, a palpable tension fills the room. The scent of burning incense mingles with the cold, damp air, creating an almost suffocating atmosphere. The clock strikes midnight, signaling Christmas Eve. The chimes echo through the silent church, each tolling note sending a shiver down the spines of the gathered villagers. Midnight marks the beginning of Christmas Eve, a time of joy and celebration, but also a time when the veil between the living and the dead is said to be at its thinnest. Suddenly, the church organ bursts to life, its haunting melody echoing through the empty nave. The sound is both beautiful and terrifying, a mournful tune that seems to come from another world. The congregation gasps in unison, their eyes darting to the organ loft, where the keys move seemingly of their own accord. The organist is nowhere to be found, the bench is empty, and yet the music continues, each note more haunting than the last. The villagers whisper among themselves, their fear growing with each passing moment. Some cross themselves, while others clutch their rosaries, praying for protection from the supernatural force at work. Years before, the church organist, a man named Silas, died tragically on Christmas Eve. Silas was a dedicated musician, known for his passion and skill. He had spent countless hours practicing for the midnight service, determined to make it a night to remember. But fate had other plans. He had poured his heart and soul into preparing the music for the midnight service, only to be found dead at the organ, his face frozen in a mask of terror. The villagers were shocked and heartbroken, unable to comprehend the sudden loss of their beloved organist. Rumors began to spread, and soon, the story of Silas's tragic end became legend. Since then, legend has it that Silas's tortured soul returns every Christmas Eve, his spectral fingers dancing across the keys, forever bound to the instrument that brought him both joy and demise. The villagers believe that Silas's spirit is trapped, unable to find peace, and that his ghostly music is a cry for help. Each year they gather in the church, hoping to witness the haunting performance and perhaps find a way to free Silas's soul from its eternal torment. Silent Night, Screaming House, a modern Christmas haunting, 2017. The Thompson family, like many others, looked forward to the holiday season with great anticipation. Their suburban home, adorned with twinkling lights and festive decorations, was a beacon of holiday cheer. Little did they know, this Christmas would be unlike any other. The Thompson family gathers in their suburban home, the glow of the Christmas tree casting long shadows on the walls. The air is filled with the scent of pine and freshly baked cookies, a perfect picture of holiday bliss. The children, excited and full of energy, eagerly await the moment they can tear into their presents. Laughter fills the air as they exchange gifts, oblivious to the darkness that has begun to seep into their festive cheer. It starts subtly, a chill in the air, a flicker of the lights, things that could easily be dismissed as the quirks of an old house. But these small disturbances are just the beginning. A toy train moving on its own, its wheels turning with a life of their own, tracing a path around the tree. The children at first think it's a trick, a new feature of their beloved toy. But the parents exchange uneasy glances, sensing that something is not quite right. A child's rocking horse swaying rhythmically back and forth, as if an invisible hand is pushing it. The creaking sound it makes is almost hypnotic, drawing the family's attention. Then, the whispers begin, soft at first, barely audible, like the rustling of leaves in the wind. Disembodied voices, too quiet to decipher, yet undeniably present. They seem to come from the very walls of the house, echoing through the rooms and hallways. The family tries to ignore them, convincing themselves that it's just their imagination. But the whispers grow louder, more insistent, filling the house with an eerie presence. The family dog whimpers, hiding under the table, its usual playful demeanor replaced by a palpable fear. Ornaments shatter, falling from the tree as if knocked by an unseen force. The once joyful atmosphere is now tinged with a sense of dread. The Christmas lights flicker violently, plunging the room into an unsettling darkness. The family is left in the pitch black, their only source of light the occasional flash of the malfunctioning bulbs. The darkness seems to have a weight to it, pressing down on them, making it hard to breathe. A piercing scream cuts through the night. It's a sound that chills them to the bone, a cry of pure terror that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The family huddles together, their hearts pounding in their chests, as they try to make sense of the chaos around them. The family huddles together, paralyzed by fear as the entity makes its presence known. They can feel its anger, its frustration, its longing. It's as if the spirit is trying to communicate with them, to tell them something important. But its message is lost in the cacophony of sounds and sensations. The spirit, it seems, is tethered to the house, its rage amplified during the Christmas season, a time when families gather, a cruel parody of the joy it can no longer experience. The Thompson family realizes that they are not alone, that their home is shared with a presence that is both tragic and terrifying. They must find a way to coexist with this spirit, to understand its pain, and to bring peace to their haunted home. The Thin Veil, Christmas, a time for both joy and terror. As the last embers of the Yule log slowly fade and the echoes of carols disappear into the silent night, we are left with a lingering sense of unease. Christmas, a time of celebration and light, also harbors a much darker side. It's a time when the veil between our world and the spirit world thins, allowing glimpses into the unknown. These real-life Christmas hauntings serve as chilling reminders that even in the most joyous of seasons, darkness can still lurk.